Welcome to Budget Beauty, where I help you look flawless for less. Welcome back, and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen and this is Budget Beauty. We do everything beauty on a budget, and that includes new makeup releases, new products. We test them out, we apply them to our face. I give you my first impression and honest review. And today I'm actually really excited to share with you a new eyeshadow palette release that I picked up that's neutral. And you know I love color, but I couldn't pass up this little neutral gem. And that is the new Natasha Deanna Mini Bronze Palette. It's neutral, but it's beautiful. And Natasha Deanna has a fantastic formula. One of my main reasons for wanting to pick the palette up was to have a neutral small palette for travel. I have a lot of travel coming up over the next few months, and I wanted to have a beautiful neutral palette that is small and compact that is perfect for travel. And knowing how fantastic the Natasha Deanna formula was, I figured I couldn't go wrong with the mini bronze. I did pick it up off of Sephora. I will make sure that I link it down below for you. I have not used this palette, so this is going to be my very first impression, and my plan is to use all 5 shades in the palette so that we can really get a feel for whether or not this is worth the money. So if you're excited, give this video a huge thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed and your bell notification is turned on, because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week. I have all the rest of my base makeup done, so I will link all of the makeup on my face down in the description box for you, along with my favorite beauty subscriptions. And of course, come on over, follow me on TikTok for more beauty on a budget. So I'm going to zoom you in, and we're going to test out the new Natasha Deanna Mini Bronze Palette. So the first thing I'm going to do is apply my eye primer. I use the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. I just find that this really just helps keep my eyeshadow in place all day and also prevents creasing. And then I just blend it out with my fingertip just to make sure that there are no creases in the eye primer. I do not set my eye primer. I just apply my shadow directly on top. So the first thing I'm going to do is set my primer, set my crease with this lightest shade in the palette here called Flesh. I have a feeling that this is going to be pretty close to my skin tone, but I'm going to use this again just to get a base into my crease. Oh no, that's actually really pretty. That is beautiful. That actually has a peachy undertone to it. That's definitely more pigmented than I thought that it would be just looking at it in the pan, but it's a great transition shade. There also is a tiny bit of kick up in the pan, which I don't get upset about because that generally means that the shades are super pigmented. I am not getting any fallout, which is fantastic. I have already set my face, so if I did get fallout, not a huge deal, but that's actually really beautiful. Perfect transition shade. Now I'm going to go in with this middle shade here called Gobi, G-O-B-I, and I'm going to focus that just in my crease. That way this lighter shade Flesh is tying everything together, blending it all nice and smoothly through my crease. So I'm going to apply Gobi just directly into my crease. Now this shade I would say is similar to Flesh, but you can see that it's really just about 1 shade deeper, which is perfect. I will say that I wish that there was 1 more shimmer in this palette. There's 4 mattes and 1 shimmer. I wish that there was a second shimmer just for a little bit more variety in the different shimmers that you can use. But the mattes, as expected, are blending beautifully. Now that shade Gobi just really deepened up the crease and added some depth. I'm going to go in with that same brush that I applied Flesh with, and without adding any more shadow, just blend that out. Buff it out and make it a little bit more seamless. Next, I'm going to go in with the deepest shade in the palette here called Russet. This is really pretty. It's kind of a reddy brown. Ooh, that is beautiful, like a terracotta color. And I'm going to focus that in my outer corner, and that's going to deepen that up and add that depth that you know I love in the outer corner. I generally will tap the color in, just tap it in, and then in kind of a swirl motion, I blend that in. And that makes it look a little bit more blended and buffed into the skin. That's beautiful. I love that. It definitely has a little bit of a terracotta red undertone with a brown base. It's really, really pretty. I will also say that it is layering really nicely over the other two shadows. That is one thing about Natasha Denona, is her shadows layer really, really beautiful. You never get any patchiness. It layers nicely no matter how many other shadows are underneath, and this palette is no exception to that. I do not own her Midi Bronze palette, the $65 palette. I actually only own one Midi Natasha Denona palette, and that's the Love palette. I do have a couple of her minis, so that was part of the reason I wanted to pick up this Mini Bronze too. Like I said, just to have it in my collection and especially to have it for travel. But that is beautiful. That layered beautifully. Now, like I said, the only shimmer in the palette is Bronze Foil. Now, this is a really, really beautiful shimmer, as you saw in the swatch. And I'm going to use my finger and just apply that all over the lid. I did not use a glitter glue. All I have is my eyeshadow base. That's stunning. Wow, that is beautiful. It is definitely foiled. The name is correct. It is definitely a foiled shimmer shade, which I really like. I think it looks beautiful on the eye. And foiled shades also will camouflage texture a little bit. And I have quite a bit of texture on my eyelids as I'm aging. So I definitely appreciate a more foiled shade. It also applies really nicely with a brush. I always use a brush to just get into that inner corner that I just can't get in with my fingers. You can use a glitter glue, and you can also wet your brush with some sort of makeup mist if you really want to bring in a little bit more of the foiled, but this is really, really pretty. I'm going to use that same brush that has flesh on it, and again, just buff everything in and blend it out. And the last shade in the palette, and we're going to use it for our lower lash line, is the shade Tough up here in the corner. This is another darker shade in the palette, so you could definitely use this in the outer corner. But we're going to apply that under the lower lash line. Oh, that's beautiful. That has a little bit of a red base. It actually looks pretty similar to Russet in the corner, just a shade lighter. So like I said, you could definitely use that shade Tough in the outer corner too. It's really, really beautiful. And then you know I love a shimmery lower lash line, so I am going to pull in some of the foil, bronze foil in the palette and blend that into it, especially focusing on my inner corner. I really wish there was a lighter shimmer for the inner corner, but this is still really, really pretty. It would have just been nice, like I said, to have one more shimmer in the palette. But we have used all 5 shades. Let me go ahead and apply some liner, mascara, lashes, and I'll be back to share my thoughts and whether or not this is worth the money. So here is the finished look. I decided not to put on lashes because I think the eyeshadow needs its moment in the spotlight. I think it just needs to stand on its own because it is absolutely beautiful. I really, really like this little palette. I'm really glad that I decided to pick it up. It is $27. Again, it's sold on Sephora. It's linked down below for you. In my opinion, 100% worth it. If you love neutral shadow, if you like these smaller palettes, it's easy to create looks. You have 5 shades: transition, crease, outer corner, lower lash line, and a shimmer. It makes it very, very easy to create looks. Now, are you going to get 100 different looks out of this palette? Probably not. It's kind of a one-trick pony, but it's a beautiful one-trick pony. And the look is really, really pretty, and the price is actually low for the quality of the palette. I'm really happy that I picked this up. I will definitely get a lot of use out of it. And even though I love color, I love a good neutral eye look as well. And if you have blue eyes like I do, colors like this, these clay color terracotta oranges, really bring out blue eyes. So I love the palette, 100% recommend. Again, it's linked down below for you. Let me know down in the comments, did you pick the palette up? What do you think of my look? Again, skipping the lashes and just focusing on the eyeshadow. It's just absolutely stunning. So another huge, huge win from Natasha Deanna. So if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed and your bell is turned on because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week. And check out the description box for all of the makeup that I'm wearing, the mini bronze palette from Natasha Deanna, my favorite beauty subscriptions. And lastly, come join me on TikTok for more beauty on a budget. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.